So you know I'm going to ask you this question. Plain and simple. Explain to me what is a mind map.
Okay. As simply as possible, it's a tool.
Okay.
It's a thinking tool.
Okay.
And we use thinking tools all the time. For example, linear notes is a thinking tool.
Okay.
Making a checklist is a thinking tool. A flowchart is a thinking tool. Similarly, a mind map is another thinking tool. It's not as simple as a checklist is, and many people look at a mind map and have extreme reactions. So people who want to look at a mind map, you can check out the book on Kindle and see plenty of mind maps for free. And it'll be tough to really include that in the video. So there are extreme reactions because it's a pretty drastic change from linear notes. Some people they get overwhelmed when they see it.
So what is it exactly? Like how is, when I'm thinking mind map, how am I thinking different from the way I would say do my morning checklist when I'm planning my day?
You tend to do everything better with a mind map. 3 areas where it really beats linear notes is learning. You tend to learn better. If you're reading a book or if you're trying to understand a concept and you make a mind map of it, you tend to learn much better than if you're just doing linear notes. You tend to memorize much better because you are encouraged to use images and color. And images and color have been shown to irrefutably boost your memory. We love images. We tend to remember images even if you're not trying to remember them. You're exposed to an image, and if I were to show you that image after 10 days, you will remember it, and you never intended to remember it in the first place. Now contrast that with numbers and words. People struggle to remember numbers and words, and they still don't have a very good memory for them. So this enhances your memory as well, and it enhances your creativity because it's about putting something in the center and then branching out. So you tend to come up with many more ideas than if you were just using linear notes.
You are absolutely right about that last point. Sorry to interject, but this was my experience. I don't know how much I really connected with it on the memory front, but when I did mind map, what ended up happening, because I was using my brain perhaps differently, I was going broader and more thoughts appeared to me when I was doing it. So more sort of plan Bs, more conditions, more things that I didn't think about, which I suddenly now sort of came into focus. So is that something that you hear from a lot of your mind map junkies?
Yes, and you seem to have a good memory of the process.
Well, it stuck with me, yes. So that's worked.
And is something that will comfort some skeptics out there is that it's not a new-fangled tool. Okay, first of all, the elements of mind maps are images and colors and lines. Those elements have been there since our caveman days. So for millions of years, our caveman ancestors have been using those tools. But Tony Buzan, the inventor of mind maps, really brought it together, systematized it, and most important, propagated it. Is since the 1960s to the Fortune 500 companies, the best universities in the world. So that's a very important point I want to drive home, is that it's not new, it's tried and tested. The smartest people in the world are using it, the smartest companies in the world are using it, the smartest teachers and students in the Harvards and the Stanfords of the world are using it. Even people from Google have been trained by me, in fact. People from Google, employees of Amazon, employees of LinkedIn, and you name any smart company, and there's a very good chance that they've attended my seminars.
Fantastic. And so what I'm hearing is creativity. I'm hearing memory.
Yes.
And I'm also hearing learning.
Yes.
So if really not just using free association, because I think I use free association therapy. Coaching uses a lot of free associative movement to just ignite those cognitive abilities. But what I'm hearing here is let's bring some more structure to that. Let's figure
Yes.
out how that structure can work for me.
Yes. So for every specialization, for coaching, for project management, for design thinking, there are certain processes and tools. I'm suggesting why don't you just also look at using a mind map along with those tools. In some cases, those specializations will have specialized tools which cannot be substituted. For example, in project management, there is the concept of a Gantt chart.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not at all suggesting that mind map substitute the Gantt chart. The Gantt chart is an absolutely wonderful tool that it makes your project very exciting to look at. It gives you a very clear visual representation of which project is going to start when and completion path and all that. But there are mind map applications, and some of them are available for free. Viewers can ask me for it. I'll be happy to send it to them. Where you can see a Gantt chart and a mind map both on one screen. So you can toggle between the big picture thinking and the small picture thinking.
What's going on? Yeah.
In the same screen, because the more scattered data is, the more time you're going to waste, and the more it affects your thinking. The more data you have in one place, in such a way that your brain can make connections between that data. So if you look at a page, a normal page will have about 250 characters. That's a bit too much. The brain just shuts off. And that's what most people, they doze off and they're reading a book. Whereas a mind map will probably have 20 to 25 pieces of data.
Yes.
So your brain constantly keeps.
And it's so visually
connections.
stimulating,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
It's colorful, it's visually stimulating. You can immediately, at that one shot, see the thought process of that person.
Yes.
Very interesting. I think perhaps because our energies have been in the same space and we've connected, recently. I've been putting out a really interesting exercise. I ran a contest, and over the Xmas month, we're going to be having a specialized coaching with 5 lucky winners. We're actually doing this, and I'm going to use the mind map tool in it. We're going to actually do it possibly on a timeline basis. So we're celebrating back 2019, and we are dreaming forward 2020. And as opposed to the typical ways that we would do it, right? You sit down with your diary, everyone does this, New Year's Eve resolutions. I mean, I've done it for so many years, and Jan 31st, you've got that, you've lost the resolutions, and you're figuring out like, what was I saying I would do in 2020? Well, so what we're doing is, we're taking our coaches across the timeline, and we're literally mind mapping our year viewing the year gone by. But it's going to be more like, how did your wins and how did your fails kind of get structured according to what hit you most, rather than looking at it chronologically. Let's bring out that creativity. Let's find areas in which something that you thought was mundane, something that you may have overlooked, suddenly starts becoming a trajectory you want to take into 2020. And so I think that I'm going to be using your mind map.
That's great.
Your mind map tool.
I think anything that gets people to just pause and reflect, and if people like you and tools like mind maps and other tools, if you don't like mind maps, please discard them. Please use whatever tools you like. If that makes the process easier, more fun, then it should be encouraged a lot, because it's the need of the hour. Thinking, pausing, reflecting, pondering. The smartest people in the world really focus a lot on that. Warren Buffett is the 3rd richest man in the world, and he just keeps thinking and reading for 8 hours every day. And it's, I'm sure that it will work for anybody.
I've been saying this from the coaching perspective. We have this mantra, and so many people, the first thing a lot of clients will come to me and say is, I'll ask them what you're looking for, and they'll say we're looking for happiness. Well, here's the new mantra. Focus is going to be the new happiness. That's what I'm predicting for 2020. And I think mind maps and tools like this can help us get where we want. And that's I think the essence of what I'm hearing from you is getting where you want faster, with better clarity, and enjoying that process.
Yeah, absolutely.